we have few failed stories also. We are not successful from the very start. Okay, it took almost 6 to 7 years to get a firm grip with this domain. It's on the first stage we did with ISRO, and working with the ISRO people is actually really nice also, because we believe that there is not that much ego.
Welcome to another episode of the Technopark podcast, as per Stories of Innovation. Today we have Mr. Pratheesh V Nair. He's the CEO of Tachlog. Welcome to the show. So Pratheesh, your company tagline, when I looked at it, it is from idea to product. So that is some gap that everybody wants to fill. So how do you come to that picture, and how do you help startups and innovators to bridge the gap between the concept and the final product?
Okay, if you go through our story, you can get what a startup experience in the time frame. So we have few failed stories also. We are not successful from the very start.
Correct.
Okay, it took almost 6 to 7 years to get a firm grip with this domain, because electronics industry is not that much easy to get understand, because the time frame where we evolved is like now you have an Arduino platform to get things started.
Right.
It took almost 4 to 5 days to work an LED blinking program in a PIG microcontroller at that time frame for us to do. Okay, so it was the information getting shared in the public domain is also much lower.
Right.
So it was not that much easy, but it given us some opportunities also, because when things are little bit hard, when you are on the first stage, you have some early bird advantages also.
Correct.
But that is something which you need to utilize for the first time. So that is something we lacked in our past also, because one of our product, we are the first in the country to have a smart water meter. From 2016 onwards, we have smart water meter in the line. From 16 to almost 2019, we were the only one company who is capable of manufacturing it in India. In India, because the market, there is something which is a quite bigger story, but I can briefly tell you in a small form factor.
Sure.
Okay, so from 2017, it was almost production ready. Our meters were able, we actually build the meter in such a way that the current manufacturer having a multi-jet water meter, we build a calculator on top it. Okay, the calculator is an electronic calculator which calculates the magnetic dial. Then the calculation is done in an MCU, which is an ultra low power, and with the LoRa it's able to transmit to the next like a concentrator or something like that, from that to the cloud. The concentrator is running on a 4G modem. Okay, at that time frame it was 2G, then it was upgraded to 4G. Okay, so this technology, when we come into the first picture, we were only having this meter. Okay, some players are having the meters, but it was not that much power efficient, like 10 years battery life they can't guarantee.
Correct.
But what happened to us is like we were also now I can invest in some projects and stuff like that, because my now my bank is more convinced. Okay, but at that time frame, if I have
it was bootstrapped, completely bootstrapped.
It's bootstrapped. So we need to generate our funding, because when we ask for an investor, it's very difficult to convince him with this technology part. Okay, but we identified a market also. Like Bangalore is one of the biggest market. Okay, so the market is something like domestic residential towers. There the water supply with the like government water supply is much lower compared to the their consumption required, because IT parks and everything were there, and the flats were fully filled and stuff like that. So their consumptions are much higher. So when the demand is higher, they need to use like tanker water supplies, which is very highly expensive. So so for their market, actually our product was perfectly matching for the situation.
So you found out that product.
And so this given us some idea, and we invested our full bootstrap money to this. Okay. Me and my few friends are heavily invested in this segment. So we try to modify the product also. That is something which first we developed a few proto. Okay, we continuously invested heavily on the development side. Because that was very good at that time frame, if you think. But it was a surprise for all of us. The COVID came. If your purchase capability is more than the factory MOQ, you can bargain the pricing.
Correct.
So this
You
is
get
for
an
the
edge.
we get the edge,
Correct.
because that pricing is uncomparable with what we get in the market. So that is something which we learned from our experience spending quite. Because that affected us really badly also, because that's our bootstrap revenue that gone to something where we couldn't generate further revenue. So that is one of my first learning experience. That is one experience I today also follow.
Correct.
Because right now we have one product called Datascope, which is production ready, and there are some R&D capabilities which we can do, but we stop that and go with the production because we need to generate the revenue. So that's something which I generally say to the startups and new peoples, like if you have a proper market, analyze the market, if you can come up with the product and generate a revenue, then that's the right moment.
Pratheesh, I want to ask the company name, Tachlog. So how do you come up with such a unique name, and is there any story behind it, or is it aligned with any other mission that you have? Can you just elaborate on that particular name? And
naming a company is very much difficult because you need to consider many aspects, like it don't need like if I put a name, if somebody is having the similar name or like trademark or something, a lot of issues are there.
Correct.
So I have just an idea to integrate two words, TAC and log. TAC is actually consider the word tachometer. Your vehicle RPM is actually shows a tachometer reading. So that's a sensor reading and stuff like that. So I consider that as a name, and it is an acceleration value also. Like how much acceleration you are going, you can get the data from there. So and log is something which the data. So we integrate the two words and combine it and so this is our like generally somebody is somebody is having an idea or something like that. We can come up with a solution which can integrate the whole stuff. Visualize. But it's something which is quite. We made it in 2013, where the Internet of Things and IoT and other stuff are not that much highly peak. So that made the word more relevant in this time frame also.
True. How Tachlog is able to balance this innovation and practical real world application of embedded systems? How do you really actualize this concept?
This is one of the trickiest questions. Actually, it has a behind scene. There are some things are also there. Like innovation, you can't stop an innovation. Like you can continuously evolve a product, but there is a point where you need to enter the market. Okay, and there is a time where you need to stop the innovation and go with your product, do the sales, and get the revenue. Otherwise, you can't maintain a team. Like you can't continuously ask a person to get funded, or you can ask a bank to continuously fund you, or you can't continuously bootstrap that stuff also. We are a bootstrap company, so our few services are running to get the revenue for the innovation. Okay, so this is something area, it's not that much an easy line. But what we can do is, like, when you are confident that your product is ready for the production, stop the innovation, go for the production, and do the pilot study, do the R&D over there, then revise the product in the second stage. So that this much of products will give you a proper financial backup to run the show.
So India's first robotic arm in space, you had a contribution, your company had a contribution there. Can you just elaborate on how that happened, and we are curious to know this particular thing.
So Make in India kind of things is, we can say that it's with local content, more than 50% it's class 1, more than 20% it's class 2. That's the category for that class, that Make in India projects. So ISRO has, it was earlier very much difficult to get the design outsourced from ISRO to an outside third party.
Okay.
Okay, but this initiative given us the opportunities to grab these kind of projects.
Okay.
So these kind of projects are available in the public domain. We quoted in the GEM for this project. Okay. What happened is like they put the requirement in the GEM. We also came to the picture that this is the requirement.
Correct.
With some pre-bid meeting and stuff like that. We were able to know this was the requirement, and we quoted according to that. Okay, so we actually believe that we are actually contributing to the Make in India domain, because the for this mission, like it's a robotic arm manipulator kind of thing, which is having a robotic arm and everything, which is not built by us, it's built by another company.
Yeah, you had a contribution,
but our contribution was on the control card.
Okay.
The main control card is actually developed by us. The CORDS computer it's having is actually developed by our team.
Correct.
Okay, the whole circuit is actually designed in Tachlog. So that's our key advantage. And we never used this. There is an SOM technology where you can buy a board and integrate in the stuff. That was the requirement initially plotted by many other companies. But we what we did is like we actually bought the components, integrated in the board, and added the local content furthermore. So that because chip manufacturing is some area where we lost the bus, but India is actually trying to do that. Like Vega processors are there, and we are working on couple of projects with the DLI schemes, where we are actually shortlisted on the final rounds also. So that's one area we try to develop using Indian processors, but this actually we need to depend on the foreign manufacturers. But that's something which we believe that we have one of the unique boards. I think we can show that.
Correct. It's a big achievement.
It's a big
company like
Actually, we are one of the pioneers in doing these kind of turnkey related activities. I think it's on the first stage we did with ISRO, and working with the ISRO people is actually really nice also, because we believe that there is not that much ego, because when you are coming with a proper better result or something like that, you have that recognition with them. So that's
also
support also. The support you are getting is also immense.
Going forward, what are your future projects and products that you are working on, and what are the how do you envision the next 5-10 years in your company's future? And especially when the times are like the technology is changing, there are geopolitical changes that are happening. So how do you envision this?
Currently, we are having a product called Data Scoop. Okay, so for the initial stage, it was not that much easy to convince actually the people who are working with me. It was my basic instinct to change this requirement to a product, because it was a generic statement given by ISRO saying that they need to acquire a particular set of sensor data into a system software. Okay, so that was the requirement. And being a technology company, I thought of finding a product inside it. Okay, the way what I did is like I generalized the requirement. Like it was a specific requirement, I put it in a general perspective, where if I remove this sensor to a different sensor, that can accommodate my system. Okay, so generally these kind of systems is called as checkout systems. Okay, that for an ISRO platform or a space platform or some defense segment, these are very costly equipments, where they charge around 30 to 40 lakhs for these kind of checkout systems. Probably by this this month end, we will be having a product inauguration kind of thing happening, which will be like commercially ready for production. Okay, we have sold almost 20 numbers with ISRO. Okay, the demands are pretty high, so we are targeting more opportunities also. So we are ready to adopt new technologies. So that's our future things. and we are planning for bigger projects in the defense sectors and the aerospace sectors also, and a few couple of products where we can create proper traction in the revenue also. So a couple of products from our belt and some system integration bigger projects.
In the beginning, as you mentioned, you started as a small team, and you have worked with some large national level organizations. What advice do you give to startups or incubators, especially in the hardware segment, from places like Technopark or even other incubators? So how do you see this, and what are the advices that you have for startups in this segment?
Understanding the project is one of the most critical things, because many of the people they wrong estimate the requirement. So estimating the stuff is something which you need to give some time.
Correct.
So that's the major problem what we also done it in the past, wrongly estimating the project. So you will be financially excused to execute the projects and stuff like that. So evaluate the budget first. There will be sufficient margin to operate. Because when you compare it with an MNC or something like that, your operation costs are much lower compared to an MNC. So they charge almost 5 to 10x. You can charge at least 2x. When you are doing it on 1x, there the problem comes.
Correct.
Okay. So when you are running on a 2x, you will have more leverage. Okay. Otherwise, leave the project. And what I believe is like for the hardware startups, don't just Google do the stuff.
Okay.
That's one area we also did it in the past. You can take the support from the manufacturer, like if you are buying a chip or something like that, talk to the application engineer over there. Read the data sheet pretty well, then integrate the stuff. Before doing the hardware stuff, do your homework pretty well and do the stuff.
So basically the research and
analyzing. And the marketability scope is one area you need to consider. That's a different topic, but going for the hardware setup, do the integration. Associate with other players also, like even if you can associate with your competitor. If, the market is pretty big. You don't need to take all the 10 projects. If you take all the 10 projects, you will be in a financial squeeze situation. Take the 3 projects, run it well, get the business. So anyway, it's a business also, because you need to run your family, your team and stuff like that. And you make your balance sheet also profitable, because you can make that. Because so that I also need to be considered. So that's a area where many of the startups are thinking it in a differently wrong way. So this is something which the hardware startups can do, and there are really good hardware startups in Technopark.
Correct. For turnkey projects, you need a larger expertise, in particular domains. And you said you have a smaller team. How do you actually manage it? You will need support from engineering, mechatronics. A lot of such domains should come together. So how do you handle this, and how do you manage such things with a team like this?
You're actually asking my trade secret, but anyway, it need to be on public domain. So that's why. The project we have executed in the last 2 years, we have executed more than 7+ flight cards, and almost 20+ total turnkey projects, where we have the mechanical part, we have the electronics part. Some electrical projects also we have done, like the electrical installation also need to be done. What we approach is like we tie up with few companies. OK Basus Metal Technologies is one of our mechanical partners. So we collaborate like a consortium like. So we will be giving them the requirement. So the major advantage with our client is like the client is only interacting with us only. And we are actually pushing the whole stuff. Joint ventures are actually the futures for this smaller ecosystem. So until and unless you get a very bigger order, it's very much illogical to build a bigger team, because it's practically impossible to run the show.
True. So how did you handle IISU's prestigious Vyommitra project? One of the biggest thing that the country is looking at. So how did you handle it, and how was the collaboration nature of that project?
Okay, actually, Vyommitra, we done only one portion of it. So actually, what ISRO is doing is like they are actually dividing the whole project. Okay, there is a requirement for controlling the robotic arm.
Okay.
So that is one of the tender plotted by ISRO in GEM.
Okay.
So we were able to identify the tender, and we quoted for the tender, and luckily we were the L1 for that particular tender. So when it comes to the picture, the mechanical design was freezed, and they have the circuit diagram also. What we need to do is like we need to identify the components which is ready for the production, and we need to come up with the proper circuit and some redesigns like PCB layouting, and doing the production, procuring the components. So it will the process is like it reduces the time for because being in a government sector, there are we are not saying that we were able to do it in a very fast, because we can take the decisions much faster.
Correct.
Okay, in the morning some of my engineer comes with a requirement, you need to go with this particular product. I can do it in a minute time frame, do the purchase, giving the online, but it will take time for these government organizations to do the execution.
Correct.
And I believe that ISRO is not the end customer. What we need to focus. By learning from ISRO, you can tap many other opportunities also. So study with ISRO, do apply it somewhere.
Correct.
So that's one area we also believe that can be. Also, there are a lot of projects coming from ISRO, and we have quoted for a couple of projects, and due to this time frame we are unable to disclose one of the projects what we got. But these are actually really interesting projects also, because when you are working with with ISRO or something like that, with their prestigious project, it's the motivation what we get from them also to handle these kind of projects. So it's something which we feel that we are also something.
Correct.
That's something
that gives us
a pretty goosebumps kind of thing. So
you feel proud about
proud about, and you see that these are the projects where the board which flown for the robotic arm project, that's actually gone from our office. So that's something which you can feel the thing. So
and that's a larger than life type of concept.
So that's where when you are working with some industries, these goosebumps are something which really good with working with these kind of guys. Okay, so we are getting we are working on a couple of bigger projects also. So if time comes,
soon it will be. Great. Pratheesh, looking back at your entrepreneurial journey, starting from 2013 to till date, how has Technopark supported it, and how do you see this whole journey?
Technopark is an ecosystem where the business happens. Okay, more than providing a startup an opportunity to get communicated and stuff like that, if business are happening, there will be requirements generating.
Correct.
So we were able to tap these kind of requirements. We were associated with many MNCs. Today there are small jobs and stuff like that, where they used to give it to an outsourced vendor, where our expertise are there, where Tachlog can fit in that opportunity and grab this. This happens only because of this ecosystem.
Right.
So more than fueling the startup kind of thing, like being a bootstrap company, I was able to evolve this much. We generally say that we are a company from, when we go to Bangalore or something like that, we say that we are a company from Technopark. That gives us some weightage. So that's something we believe that helped us. What the startup mission is right now doing is a really great thing.
Correct.
So the failures are something which doesn't affect them, because they learn more experience.
Part of the journey.
It's part of the journey. But when opportunities come, if they are pretty confident, they will be able to generate the revenue. That already the companies have proven. And there are other ecosystems also there, like K-Space. K-Space, which is led by Levin sir, is a wonderful person. So actually, we have some ground in the aerospace segment, where the K-Space was not there, and we were not recognized by K-Space also. But once they started recognizing us, we have really good voice in the platform. So that's something which we believe that these ecosystems can do wonders.
True.
Okay. So and some of the joint ventures which we believe that can take us to the next level. So earlier, it's very difficult to compete with the bigger projects where the MNCs can only do. But right now we are actually targeting that bigger market space where we can target the bigger projects.
So Pratheesh, wonderful to know about you and how you have grown this company. Wishing you all the very best, and thank you so much for joining for us for this show.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for watching Aspire Stories of Innovation, the Technopark podcast. This is Ajay S. Nair signing off.